Hey everyone, Pipcut here with a follow-up video. A little bit ago, I posted a video about how to respond to a tower rush. One of my members of my coaching Discord, which you're interested in joining, check out the link below my video, as well as you're looking for coaching services or you want to follow me on Twitch. Anyway, he messaged that the video really helped him. In fact, he won a game using the exact advice I gave him. So I think it'd be interesting to watch his game and see how he's implementing the advice and how well it worked. Especially because he is a Byzantine player and he's playing against Mongol, and Mongol is traditionally a pretty good counter to Byzantine. So it's interesting that he was able to use this advice and worked. So let's see him break it down, especially he is a Diamond 1 player. Last season, he was a Plat player. The season before, he was a Gold player. So, you know, pretty good improvement every season from Gatsu here. Let's go check it out. Okay, so we are on cliffside, and he's Byzantine. Now, this is a recipe for disaster for Byzantine usually. The Mongol player, and against literally anyone outside of a few civs that are really good against tower rushes, Mongol here has a huge advantage. He can tower the berries and the gold. Boom, right here. He loses his initial berries and gold. Berries are the main driver of Byzantine because the olive oil gives him the extra units, which gives him that unit advantage, which then leads to map control and things like that. Even if he doesn't want to tower behind, he could tower his front wood lines. Both his wood lines are very forward, and if those wood lines are towered, that means that Gatsu actually just can't build anything. If he's out of wood, all he can do is use the 3 straggler trees, which gives him 450 wood before he runs out. I actually don't think people realize how effective it is to just completely cut off at least one resource. I think the least important resource to cut off a lot of the times is gold. You cut off gold if you're afraid of a fast castle. But if you think about it, if you don't have gold but you have food and wood, you have all the resources you need to make units, to make more production, to go take another gold via tower and units. So it's actually not a big deal. But if you cut off food or if you cut off wood, nothing can happen. If you don't have any food, you can't make units, you can't age up. You don't have wood, you can't make any production, so you can't make units, you can't make houses. So a lot of the times, yes, cutting off gold is a way to slow down a civ, but if you actually want to kill them, it requires cutting off a second resource. So the Mongol player is rushing, and here are his spearmen, and he's going to drop that tower. A little key here is if you see the spearmen show up, please just destroy the mining camp. The reason being is Mongol players do get a resource bonus from burning, so like getting a building down to burning level, they'll get resources for that. Now, if they hit it once and then you destroy it, they still get the resources. So if you see the spearmen coming, just delete the tower with holding B before they touch it. So, the Mongol player is getting a great tower, cutting off the initial berries, cutting off the initial gold, really, really strong. Let's see how Gatsu takes the advice from my video. Now, the thing I talked about was, if possible, if he doesn't have a lot of units, you can do this little defense with your villagers. So he's using his 3 vills. He popped Akratoy, I'm pretty sure. Yes, he did. So he has extra armor, extra damage, so he can keep threatening this vill to slow the tower down. His other option, of course, what we've talked about is he can just go to a different gold. So it looks like that's the decision he's making here. Yes, I did feed the dogs. Quick life up there. I fed the dogs. So he's just going to go and get a lot of wood, which we talked about. So the goals here is get a lot of extra wood, get an archery range, and make a couple archers to defend your villagers, and then rush on and take another gold. One thing that should be good for Gatsu is that he sees more spears coming. More spears means that his opponent has invested more resources into spears. If you want a quick calculation, every spear is 80 resources. Now, Mongols can double produce using stone. So usually how it works is that they make a spear, double produce, and then double produce. So he actually basically spent the resources of 3 spears here, which means he has spent 240 resources, plus the 150 for the barracks, plus the 100 wood for the outposts. That's a lot of resources to spend that Gatsu can now use himself differently as a way to get an advantage. So he's dropping the archery range. He's getting a lot of extra wood, getting out his next cistern, which is important for his eco. He's scouting out the next golds he can go to, making his first couple archers. making a barracks because he knows Keshiks will probably come as well. Gets 2 archers out, and now it's time to go take a goal. Oh, he's actually going to take a goal. He's just going to push back. Okay, so remember our 2 strategies, right? You can either go take another gold, or you can go push with your archers before they age up. Look at the scouting that Gatsu did here. He realized the Mongol player's gold is wide open, very far from his TC. And this is especially true for Mongols, where since they choose where to unpack their town center, a very common thing for Mongol players to do is to put it on the wood line. And then their gold is wide open. So Gatsu is running down here, sees the villagers on the gold. Boom, boom, boom. No more gold for the Mongol player. He ages up. Now what Gatsu has to be careful of is, of course, Keshiks. But now he's shooting him off the wood line. This is just a lot of, like, he doesn't kill a vill, but the movement he's making his opponent do, his opponent has to run his villagers around, has to move him off lines. That is eco damage. It is. Even if it's not a vill kill, he is losing resources by not having time to actually collect any. The thing I would be careful about here is if one Keshi comes out, you lose all your archers. Kills a vill, nice. So it's time to back those archers up and save them, basically. But look what he did during this. His opponent has 5 spears sitting in this tower that are doing nothing at this point. What they are doing, hypothetically, is blocking this berries, of course. But there's nothing really else he's blocking. Yes, the stone, but there's a berries up here. There's a berries down here. There's deer forward. And Gatsu, during this time, just went down and took the gold down here. Easy peasy. Oh my gosh, there's all these sheep right here. It's really funny. And now he's making spears for the Keshiks. He has gold so he can get upgrades. And he's just going to maintain the... He's going to maintain the aggressiveness. And here's the thing. Since he knocked his opponent off gold, that means his opponent can only make really 1 round of Keshiks. Oh, actually, he has 200 extra gold. So he could make more Keshiks. But if he just keeps up this pressure, it's going to be hard for the Mongol player to match him because a Byzantine eco is better. Byzantine's eco is better because of the cisterns. So if he just keeps consistently making units, he'll be fine. And especially Mongol eco isn't that great a lot of the time because 1, they're down a vill because they have to unpack their TC at the start. And 2, they don't have any special eco upgrades outside of being under deer stones, but that's only if they're under the deer stones. Now, if they get trade out, that's a whole nother issue. But look at this. Gatsu at this point, at the 8-minute mark, has 17 units, while his opponent has only 6. And 5 of them are in the tower. So look how well... So he just made units. He just opened up immediately, made units, decided that was the best route for him to take. And it's going to pay off because now he has a lot of units, and his opponent is really far behind. Mostly because of food was the issue. So look what else his pressure did. His opponent ran out of sheep, which is often a weakness of Mongol when they scout a lot early to find the best place to tower. If you're just good at getting sheep, you can often out-sheep the Mongol player. He has to drop pastures to make sheeps. He can't go on the berries because of his units, and he could only have 5 vills on the deer out here because if he adds more, he can attack that. So overall, Mongol player is in a really bad position now. And basically, Gatsu flipped the field. He realized that the easiest way to take out a Mongol player is just by making units. And just like how it's easy for the Mongol player to tower, my wife just opened, what do we got? A nice pink seltzer. Amazing. Realized that if he just makes units, 1, he's resource ahead. 2, he can use that distance to his advantage as well. While a Mongol player had a really short distance to tower, he has a really short distance to re-attack. I love this. Scouts on the other gold. Chases off the vills. This is so much idle time. Even if he's not killing the vills, so much idle time. He's still watching the gold over here, so he can't sneak back to it. And the Mongol player just can't get enough units to fight this. Now he's just going to burn the Uvu, which is a great option. Burning the Uvu reduces a lot of the stone eco, makes so he can't double produce units. And now the Mongol player is just basically stuck. And look, and now that Gatsu has map control, i.e. the Mongol player can't really leave his base, he has to play super defensive. He can just take berries, he can just take gold, he can take any resource on the map without a lot of fear. All he needs to do is really get his arrow defense, get his siege engineering, and be good to go. His eco is a little imbalanced, but when you're pressuring this much, it's totally understandable if you're not, doing some perfect defense here. Yeah, all he needs to do now is rush the upgrades. You need a few more than 5 spears, in my opinion. You probably want like, if he has 5 spears in the tower, you probably want like 8 to 10, or make a ram. Remember, use the Dialecticus, whatever one your blacksmith's on, to really rush these upgrades. Get arrow defense first because you're diving, then arrow attack, and then siege engineering. You could end the game in feudal. Let's see if that's what he does. Let's actually go to caster mode. So look at this. Gatsu has killed 6 vills, and he is up 9, which means the Mongol player most likely also wasn't able to make 2 more vills during the time he had a lack of food. He has 24 units, and the Mongol player has caught up. He now has 7 archers, but a lot of those were probably double produced early on with the Uvu being dead. He can't double produce anymore, so he's going to struggle to continually to use that as a way to get more units. The Mongol player is on gold, but gold's not his issue. Look, he has 700 gold, but that's not going to help him. Because he needs food. That's his actual biggest issue. Gatsu now deciding to take this. Wow, this spear is actually way better than anticipated. Decided just to back up. He's done a lot of damage. He's walling up, and he has a lot of wood to spend. Now, I don't know if I agree with this as much. I think if you just kept on making units and use that wood, because you still on the same 2 production buildings. If you just use that wood to drop like another barracks, another archery range, maybe even a 3rd barracks, so 3 barracks, 2 archery ranges, kept pumping units, and then just dropped a couple of rams, I think you just win that right now. Honestly, I think you do. But the walls are smart and safe, reduce the area you can get raided, getting your upgrades, dropped a bunch of growth, so you're getting a lot of olive oil. Make sure you spend that oh, Gatsu. So the biggest, I didn't even realize this either. The biggest issue I see right now, Gatsu, is that he never dropped a mercenary house. Without a mercenary house, he's not spending his olive oil, which he has 2 rounds worth of olive oil to spend, which would have been really, really big for his unit count. He would have effectively had 10 more units if he did longbows or javelins, which would put him at 36, which is just an intimidating force. He also could already got his 3rd cistern, which was huge for his eco. So those things happen when you're being super aggressive, but being able to also maintain those things while being aggressive is an important thing we want to keep in mind. We're watching replays. Even if you win, what's things you could have done better? Mongol player is going to rush castle, but I don't know how much he's going to be able to do out of that castle. He does have this deer, and this is where letting the pressure back up can hurt. Okay, castle. So this is a classic when someone rushes castle, but they're not necessarily safe. They do these raids. They kind of throw their opponent up, but he does lose all the Keshiks. One thing to do when you have this much extra resources, drop a market and sell the wood for gold. Gatsu's going to easily rush castle himself. All he needs to do is just add in a whole bunch of men-at-arms and a bunch of archers, and we good to go. Because completely forgot oil. Now he's making 3 rounds of longbows. You could have dropped 2 mercenary houses here, honestly. The Mongol player is doing mass Mangudai as a way to get back in, which, I don't know. In Castle, Mangudai fall off, and the reason I want to do Mangudai against Byzantines is that they have longbows or javelins, both which would completely counter the Mangudai. 28 spears is also a lot of spears. Are those upgraded? Another thing is when you need to get your upgrades quickly, Dialecticus once again. Don't forget your switches in your cistern. But look, if you negate the ability for the Mongol player to cut off resources, the game gets a lot harder for them. He's not trading. His main extra eco does come from the step route, which is good, don't get me wrong. But the Mongol player is in a desperate situation. Here comes the push. Look how he has 20 longbows now. And the Mongol player just can't keep up. This is when the Byzantines feel like they're impossible to beat. When they get a bunch of olive groves down, they're spending their olive oil. They're on level 4 cisterns, so their unit production is at 80%. So every production building is almost like double a production building. Sorry, I got a little quiet. My wife just got on a call. I'm trying to finish this video. Dropping the rams, we're gonna go in. That should be GG right here. The mass Mangudai was not the way to counter this, unfortunately, for the Mongol player. Don't chase. Don't chase. You have, so when they're trying to pull you back into base, you don't want to follow. The reason you don't want to follow is because if you follow in their range, they're going to pick you apart. 2, if you leave the rams, he'll pop his vills out to burn the rams. Just stick by your attack point. Don't get sucked in. He put the longbows in them. The problem is he doesn't have anything to kill the rams besides vills. Yep. GG. Alright, shout out to Gatsu using that advice really well, making this game against what should have been a tough matchup for Byzantine into a very winnable one. Hope you guys enjoyed seeing like the follow-up and how it is executed at more of a low diamond level. And thank you, Gatsu, for letting me use your replay. Hope you enjoyed the video, and good luck on your games.